Two idiots talking over stuff. Talking over. Talking over. Talking over.
Whoa, what's up, you fucking idiots?
What's up?
Idiot.
Hello, my fellow idiot.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Who, what do you mean? Who are you?
Perfect, because I was just figuring out how to do that. Also, I'm Felicia, or at Felicia3 on Twitter and Instagram. Who the fuck are you?
Hi, I'm Al by Night, otherwise known as Jesse. You can find me on Twitter at Al by Night. I fucked that all up.
Yeah, I don't know why it really makes me laugh when you lead with the handle.
Well.
And you know what? Together? Who are we together, Jesse?
We're two idiots talking over stuff.
Wow. And hey, we have a website. It's www.idiots.fm. That website has the links to all of our socials, including our Discord, which is our little podcast community where we talk about, I don't know, just stuff that's coming out. You can ask us questions. You can say how much you disagreed with Jesse about something on the last episode.
Yeah, I do fact checking in there when I fuck up, which I do frequently.
You can say how much you think Felicia is right all the time. Or, you could email us these opinions, hello@idiots.fm. Also, any questions. Otherwise, we're at Tito's Pod everywhere, but most active on Twitter and occasionally TikTok.
Wow, we sure are.
Wow.
Hey, Felicia.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, what's going on?
It's been fucking busy. For once, I guess.
Well, busy how?
I left the house so many times. First, I had to get a thyroid ultrasound because when you don't have one, they like to check on you every so often.
Did you sell your thyroid?
I wish. No, unfortunately, they just took it for and I had to pay them.
You think they sold it?
Probably, and that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it
didn't even work.
They sold a fucked up thyroid to someone. Wow.
And so I did that. And then I went to dinner with some old coworkers, and I had literally one drink and felt like I was drunk as fuck because I don't drink at all anymore, pretty much.
Well, yeah, the thyroid filters alcohol. Everybody knows that.
Sure.
So,
I can't really argue with you because I don't know enough to know, but probably that's incorrect. Then I went on a date, which is like weird.
Oh, you actually went on a date?
I did go on the date.
Oh, I heard the planning stages.
Yeah. I feel like, because I told this man that I have 2 podcasts. I didn't tell him the names, but like in the event that he finds one, I don't want to necessarily like dish. I'll say the date was just fine, and then I'll tell Jesse about it afterwards.
Just fine's good.
Yeah, just fine, not bad, not great.
Nightmare.
Yeah, and I feel like first dates are like often awkward because they're just like a get to know you time. So it's not like I expect a lot from first dates. And yeah. So, I would give him a second one, I'd say.
Hell yeah, dude. That's great.
Hell yeah.
Hey, if you're listening, hey, good job. Oh. Good job about it.
What did you think I was going to do? I thought you were going to be like, hey, if you're listening, you can date Felicia.
No, that's bad friend shit.
Yeah, that's
I do
bad
good friend stuff.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Other than that, I downloaded another cute Switch game called Penko Park. Penko. It's like, I don't really know how to describe it. It's almost like you're on a ride through, like, you know how sometimes zoos or like wildlife refuges have those like safari tours where you are in the car and it kind of drives you through. So it's like that, but it's very cutesy and like cartoony, and you're supposed to take pictures of the different creatures you see.
That's cool.
Like as you go, you unlock new levels, you unlock new paths, you unlock new tools for like revealing more animals to take pictures of, and it's very
That
cute.
sounds a lot like that Pokemon game where you take pictures of Pokemans.
Maybe. I haven't played it, but it could be.
That sounds a whole lot like it. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, I
Well,
think they ripped it off.
probably, but I saw someone on Twitch play it on stream a while ago, and I happened to see it on sale in the Switch store, so I was like, "Oh hell yeah." And it's very
Cool.
fun and cute.
That's good. Are you still doing the what was it, the plant thing?
Oh, I finished that immediately.
That's right. But you didn't replay it?
Not yet. I still have it installed though. I actually started another one called Cultist Simulator, and it's not so it's like a card. I don't know what these are called exactly. It's almost like a card game, but you kind of play cards and it does certain actions. So like I don't really know how to be good at it, but I've
Right.
started to figure out how not to die immediately.
Yeah.
So like it's an ever like you can do it really fast, or you can like pause and play cards more thoughtfully. But yeah, I think your goal is to like build a cult and gain followers. But
Yeah.
I still don't fully understand what actions I need to take to do that. So I'm essentially just like fighting to make money, because that's a thing you have to do. And if you run out of money, you can die. Uh,
Oh,
so I'm like fighting to keep making money while trying not to die, and like hopefully figuring out cult stuff, but I'm not good at it yet, and there's no tutorial or anything. So it's like, yeah, figure it out. Unfortunately, it is still quite addicting, and I've spent literal hours doing it.
there's
So,
there's this game on Steam that's like crap, now I can't remember the name of it, but it very much reminds me of that. It's got a very like unique art style, and it's dark, and it's like a deck builder.
yeah, I've never played those before. This was my first time. I'd heard about them, but they are like kind of stressful.
They're
And I'm
time
looking,
sinks.
yeah, they are. I'm looking for something a bit calmer, like one like a game where I can't die. Uh,
Hmm.
so it's fun to dabble with.
I wish my memory was better, because I know I have games like that, and I
Yeah.
just can't think of the names of them.
I also don't want to be, even though they are relatively cheap, I don't necessarily want to be spending like $12 every day in the Switch store. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna cool it for a while. But yeah, I'm just collecting some like time wasty, fun, cute games.
That's good. I think those are good.
Yeah.
It's good to have mindless fun sometimes.
Speaking of games, I had a very long chat with Miriam the other day. We were
Uh-huh.
talking about The Last of Us because she just finished it.
Yeah, she was upset about it.
I know, and we were talking about that. The end of Last of Us is very divisive. There's a certain decision that's made, and like half the camp is kind of, yes, that was the right decision, and the other half of the camp is like, that was unjustifiable. And
Mhm.
I feel like how you feel about the end is going to affect how you feel about the second game. I feel like if you disagreed with the ending of the first, you're going to like the second game more.
Oh, well, she immediately downloaded the second game.
Yeah, I told her that the second game like irreparably broke me in many ways. Like I feel like I went to work the next day feeling like someone in my life actually died after playing that game.
Oh, good, thanks.
Yeah,
I'll get to live with that.
but I also feel I'm probably more attached to those characters than most. So,
That's true. You have replayed that game several times, yeah?
yeah, over the course of many years, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she liked it. She was just like not a fan of the ending.
Yeah. I really like the ending, and I also appreciate that it ended on such a cliffhanger. And at the time, nobody knew if we were ever going to get a second game. So it was like you're just going to leave it like that. So she is
Yeah.
lucky she has a second game to pick up where that left off immediately.
Maybe they knew what they had. They're like,
Oh, I'm sure.
yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna get a second game. This is awesome.
Yeah. It's been voted like game of the decade.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great.
We're thinking about getting another PlayStation. So her PlayStation is in her lady lair, with a better TV than we have in our living room because like I watch everything on my computer, so I don't really use a TV that often. But when we watch stuff together, we use the living room TV, and we are getting that replaced this week
Cool.
because of this show, I think.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I watched the Little Mermaid trailer on the TV in here and could not tell that her hair was red.
Right.
Because it's so like I view it from the side a lot because I'm working. And if you view our TV currently from the side, it like is very dark. Yeah, and I couldn't tell her hair was red. And I was like, okay, new TV time.
Yeah, that happened to me, except it happened like really fast. I think I was playing Skyrim, and I remember being in certain areas and being like, I can't see anything. Like being in caves, I had to keep casting like light spells just so I could see the game.
That's apparently a huge problem on the Switch version of Skyrim too.
Interesting. Because yeah, you can only turn up brightness so much.
I also saw in the Switch version of Skyrim this week that there's like a huge frames per second issue once you get a good bit into the game. Like the Switch version gets very clunky.
I can see that because it's a huge game. Like it also must take up so much space on the Switch.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense. That port never made much sense to me.
It's mostly for like, so you can take it on the go. I feel like that's why I got the Switch in the first place. I was never a big Nintendo person, but they started putting out, multiple other games that aren't Nintendo.
Skyrim's got like a huge modding community too, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how they handle that on the Switch.
Yeah, but for me personally, the reason I bought the Switch is that I could take it on trips, or I could take it when I'm staying for a while at my parents' house.
Yeah.
So it's just like, more than anything, had been downloading games that I've already played and like know would be fine on the go and would keep me entertained.
Right.
So I'm just like now starting to do more or buy more games that I can play whenever because I'm using it at home for the most part now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
This week I was on call for work, and that made it so I played like an hour of Cyberpunk.
Perfect.
Because the first time I started to play it, I got pinged.
Oh.
But I spent the rest of my week doing creative stuff, which is
good.
Yeah, I was working on my album and stuff. I'm trying to work on a program to make this is some behind the scenes for the podcast, but I do a rundown every week.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put all of the shows and their information in the rundown. And that's actually annoying, that process, because one, I have to look to see what's coming out, which is harder than it sounds like it is, because that information is scattered for some reason. I have to try to figure out what it's coming out on. And then I like paste all the information in the rundown into like a specific format. But it takes too long. So I'm making a program that will like, I feed it a title and it'll just spit back the formatted text at me.
That's nice.
Yeah, that would be very nice.
That works. Yeah.
It's going to work. I just got to make it. I know how to make it work. I just got to put the time in this week.
Yeah, for people who don't know, Jesse does the rundown for every episode. So he's the one putting together what's coming out and when. So anything to make that easier, I'm sure would be nice.
Yeah, it's one of the, besides editing, it's like the second biggest chunk of time.
Yeah.
Just because it really is like too hard to figure out what the hell is coming out.
I know that, like, even just Googling, what's new on Netflix, say it's going to give you older things that just happen to come to Netflix that have existed for a while, but Netflix didn't have. So yeah, it is too hard to figure out what's new.
I use like 4 or 5 sources and they've all got different information on them.
Ugh.
Because everybody's got an idea of like what's important enough to say is coming out. And then some of them will list like garbage.
Yeah.
And I have to try to figure out what's garbage and what's not.
Even if you like explicitly type, hey, what's new on Netflix, sometimes it'll give you stuff that's literally been on Netflix for years.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how you've decided this.
This week, though, I did figure out a little hack. And yeah, Metacritic.
Oh.
I didn't know they did TV shows, but they do movie and TV show ratings. And it's like an aggregate of different articles. So you can kind of figure out what's shit based on the articles that are about the show. And
That's
Metacritic lists those. Metacritic also says where they're streaming, which is another huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That information's too fucking hard to get. Google never knows for some reason.
So weird.
Yeah. Unless it's like super mainstream.
Yeah, it's just in the age of streaming, it should be easier to find out what there is.
Yeah. Maybe as time goes on and I throw more of my like programming skills into it, maybe our website will become a source of truth for people.
Oh, hell yeah. Do you feel like it's because they're all subscription services, they don't really even want you to know what's available unless you're paying?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Google just fucking blows at knowing what's streaming. And half the time when you ask Google what's something streaming on, they send you to sites it's not on. They're like, yeah, check Netflix. No. This is like a Paramount Plus show. Anyway, that's a tangent. I discovered a podcast this week called The Magnus Archives, which is an audio drama. And the idea is that there's this guy reading through the archives of like a supernatural institute, like a supernatural investigation institute. So he's his voice is a little filtered to make it sound like it's recorded.
Oh.
So it's like you're listening to recordings of this guy reading through cases.
That's pretty sick.
Case notes. Yeah.
Is it like every episode is a different case or it's all okay.
Yeah. Is that called an anthology? Anthology style? Yeah, that's what it is. So I went to Reddit and I was specifically looking for audio dramas because I wanted to give them a try. And that one consistently came back as the best. And the Magnus Archives is very good. I'm like 4 or 5 episodes in. And by episode 2, I was like, I want to make one.
Yeah.
I want to make an audio drama. And then I mentioned that in Fortnite, and Tatiana was like, don't you have enough projects? And I said, no.
Well, technically, it's not an altogether new project because you're already working on something that you would just be then turning into an audio drama.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I want to do one. I'm just going to do one for fun.
Just do it.
I just want to do one episode of one for fun to see what it's like.
Yeah.
But as I was listening to the Magnus Archives, I was like, technically, I could pull this off real easy. And I have all the equipment and I have all the software I need to. And I could even like make the music for it. So I think I could do one of those super easy.
I support it. See, I'm a ride or die, unlike Tatiana.
I think Tatiana just wants me to finish my album.
Oh, that's fair.
She wants to listen to my music, which I work on that like 3 or 4 hours a week.
Damn.
I'm just looking like for the music stuff. I'm looking for my sound. This is like a debut thing for me, and it's a different lane. It's not like the lo-fi stuff that I've made before. And it is very hard to develop a sound that's unique to you.
How long has that been in the making?
2 years.
Yeah.
And I've been throwing several hours at it every week for 2 years. So it's not like I'm stagnant.
No, but I feel like, didn't you say at one point that this would be like the year?
Yeah. I am getting close and my sound is developing.
Cool.
I could start to hear it separating because there's this video by Eric Glass. I'll put it in the show notes. Have I ever made you watch this video?
I don't know.
It's Ira Glass talking about the creative process. And he says that it sucks when you have good taste to also be an artist. Because when you're starting out, you know what's good.
Yeah.
But your skill doesn't match up to it. So you're like more prone to quit.
That's a good point.
Because you know what's good. You have good taste, but your skills are nowhere near it. So everything that you make sounds like shit.
I like that explanation a lot more than the just like being impatient to be good. Like, starting a new hobby and you're not immediately good at it, so you quit. Like, I'm kind of that person, but now I'll be like, well, I know what's good and I just want to be that good.
Dude, I'm not that person. That's like, I think maybe my greatest superpower is that I'm not afraid to suck. but I suck in private.
Yeah.
I am afraid to suck in public.
Sure.
But when I release this album, it's going to be like 14 tracks and like 40 minutes, but it's going to represent so many hours of me sucking in private.
Any creative project does.
Yeah. But yeah, that I'm gonna link that Ira Glass video because I watched that thing like I tell people to watch it like once a month, and I swear I think I do.
Damn.
Because that's like a great reminder for life in general. Is it's okay to suck at shit if you understand that it sucks, and if you recognize that it sucks, then that means you have the potential to be great, I think.
And also if you're like content with it sucking until you get better and you don't immediately give up out of frustration.
Yeah, I think a lot of people give up.
Yeah.
And that's sad because I don't know. I think a lot of people actually, I feel like media fucks with a lot of people and like makes you think that there are just savants all over the fucking place.
Which is like patently untrue for a lot of reasons. And one of them being that like media is also flooded with crap. And sometimes the crap gets the most attention. So like you got to go by your own standards and taste and not what's out there.
Yeah. And I think people start creating based on dreams too. So it's like some combination of like you daydreaming about being on a stage as a superstar, but when you start out and you suck, you're not connecting that and the progress of practicing with the dream. You just want to start off on the stage. I think that's what's like really interesting about stand-up comedy and why I respect those people so fucking much.
Yeah.
Is because I suck in private, they can't.
Right.
They're sucking in public.
They are sucking in public.
And I don't know how the fuck they do that.
Well,
like,
and that's the difference between
shit.
like the people who take the time to hone their craft by going to like free open mics and just testing their shit versus the people who think they're hilarious and immediately try to get booked on real shows.
Yeah. And there are some people that do that. There are some people that just out of the gate are hilarious.
Yeah, but like you still gotta hone the material. I'm not a stand-up comic. I shouldn't be
well,
saying,
I mean,
but
you know the rules.
An example, yeah.
You know the rules, like you know how stand-up works.
Right.
And that it's a fucking trudge no matter what. But I think a lot of people just don't think there's room for them if they're not the best.
Yeah.
So when you think about it and you're like, I suck, I'm only ever going to be average. Like there might be room for you in that thing as an average doer of that thing.
There's also like a weighing period that happens where it's like you realize that you suck, but you want the thing, but is your want of the thing enough to dedicate the time and effort to getting better? Or are you just like, I suck and I don't want it enough, so I'm just going to stop?
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do that math on everything.
Yeah.
And some people just never do.
Right.
They're just fine sucking, and I've never understood it. Like, I'll never understand that mentality.
No, not particularly.
Usually, if I want to do something and there's even like a glint of hope that I can do it, I'll do it. I'll like learn what I need to learn or whatever.
See, I wish I had that mentality. Usually what happens with me is that I decide I want to get into something like digital art. I do it. I realize I'm fine at it. And then I just kind of continue to be fine. Like if I really, because I don't have like enough drive to pursue bettering myself enough to get to the next level. Because I'm like, this is just a thing that I do for fun. Like it is a thing I could potentially do for money, but I don't like, I'm not interested enough in that outcome to develop the skill more.
Yeah, you need to do it like an hour a day probably.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and just do like incremental progress.
I'd need to do it a lot more consistently and a lot more like geared toward practicing and not just making completed pieces.
Like when's the last time you drew something?
Probably over a year ago.
Yeah, you just gotta do it consistently. That's hard though, like forming a habit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And it's always hard to do creative shit when you don't have an end game.
Right.
I've always found that to be true. It's like I will let shit lay by the wayside if I don't have a plan. If I'm like not doing it for a reason, it's hard to do.
This has already become a huge tangent, but just, to add another layer to that, there's also that fear of like, if you're doing your hobby so much to the extent where you start to hate it just because you've tried to make something out of it, whether that's like for monetary or personal gain, it like, is it worth killing my hobby to pursue this thing? Or how do I do this thing without killing my hobby in the process? So there is a lot to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to navigate that shit for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good tangent. We got creatives listening to this. They'll probably get something out of it. What did we watch last week?
So last week, I don't know if we've said this. I think we have, but just a refresher. For the month of October, our VR group we each picked a movie and put it in a playlist to shuffle. So each week it's one of our personal picks rather than just like a random sequel. So last week was my pick, which was The Host,
which is a bold choice.
Well, so here's the thing. I really thought everyone would have seen it because The Host is like an incredibly popular and like lauded Korean horror movie. I think Korean. I want to say Korean. I might be wrong.
Is lauded good or bad? I used it wrong.
Lauded is like worshipped.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it's a classic and people love this movie and I love this movie. And so I chose it essentially because I thought, people would be like, oh, hell yeah, I love this movie. Yeah. And that was only the case for one person and nobody else had seen it. And it is a little dark.
There aren't like a bunch of horror heads in there.
Yeah, there are.
There's some, but
there's several horror heads, but I think they're more classic horror. Well, I don't know. They're not
like slasher and
yeah, like popular horror. So yeah, the Host was my choice, but I'm kind of hiding behind Matt because I'm like, technically I gave him that and one other choice and he said The Host. So that it's technically his fault, even though he'd never seen it, apparently.
I said bold choice because of the subtitles, but the subtitles is kind of good for VR.
Well, also, we have to rely on subtitles anyway because it's so quiet compared to the rest of us. Yeah, so it's like true. Not that much different.
Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, it is a good movie and it's a really cool like creature design in my opinion. But I forgot that it does get quite sad as well.
It looks like dinosperm.
It's like a fish dinosaur.
Yeah, it's a dinosperm.
At one point, so in VR, the sound is directional. So, you hear people in relation to where they are to you. And at one point, Jesse came up on my left-hand side and like yell whispered, "Hey, why are you making me sad?" And it was very startling.
Well, it's directional and you can move silently.
Yeah.
So it's like you're sitting in theater seats in VR and you can teleport around. So you don't have to like walk in front of people. Uh-huh. So it's fun to like teleport right to the left of someone and then whisper in their ear. But yes. This character dies.
Yeah.
And it's sad.
But
what do you want me to do?
I picked it just because it's a good movie, and I'm sorry for introducing good movies to VR horror.
It was good from what I could tell.
Yeah.
It was made better by the Munsters theme song that Steve kept playing.
It was certainly made less tense.
And then like halfway through, he started playing Curb Your Enthusiasm music, which completely changed the tone of everything. And it was great.
And Steve's the one who had seen it before. And especially like in the beginning said, okay, no bits because this is a good movie. Dude, and then proceeded to play Curb Your Enthusiasm music.
There's always bits.
Yeah. But he was also like threatening us. Anytime we started talking, he would like pull up some other thing on the screen and we'd be like, no, we're paying attention.
I could think of like 2 or 3 times in total that we watched a movie and I could like keep up with the movie. Usually there's been a while. Bits.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about it.
But I still think that at least for recent movies, we paid more attention to this than most things.
Yes.
Like there wasn't stuff playing on top of it, just music.
Yeah, it was just the tone being ruined by the wrong music.
Very, very different.
Which is one of my favorite things. So I had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Me and Miriam watched Buzzfeed Unsolved Supernatural. We're catching up.
Yeah.
And I think we're up through like season 3 or 4. The last one they did was some hotel in New Orleans, and there were like footsteps above them.
And they like asked, because didn't they ask the people staying in the room next to them if they were walking around, and they were like, no, but we heard it too.
Yeah, we were fucking freaked out too, is what they said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if I ever buy that sort of thing. I'm very skeptical.
Of course, you don't believe in ghosts. Yeah, you're Shane.
I'm a 1,000,000% Shane.
We discussed this a little bit because in the show, the two hosts are Ryan and Shane. Ryan is the believer and Shane is the skeptic.
Yeah.
Jesse has the personality of Ryan more than I do, but the beliefs of Shane, and I have the personality of Shane and the beliefs of Ryan.
I don't know. I think I've got some Shane personality in me.
You do.
He's
just
troll.
a little. He's a huge troll, but I think he's a little more brash.
Yeah,
and like belligerent than you would be in that situation, because I feel like.
If you were like scared, I wouldn't pile on.
Right. But I also think that you're human enough that if you were in that situation, no shade to Shane, but like if you were in that situation, I feel like even though you don't believe in ghosts, you'd be a little spooked out to be like left alone in a haunted body shoot.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't like that.
Right.
Oh, speaking of the body shoot, we hit that episode. And I had to like tell Miriam to check the title because that's what they did in the first episodes of Ghost Files.
Yeah, in Ghost Files, they revisit some of the locations that they had been to previously.
Yeah, that ghost shoot, man, you wouldn't catch my ass down there in the first place.
So, like, yeah, you at least have the reverence to be like, I don't believe in ghosts, but this is kind of a fucked up place to be. Whereas Shane takes, like, effervescent delight in being in these places.
But my thing is, like, I would be spooked by, like, wildlife or spiders and shit. I'm not, like, spooked because of ghosts. I'm spooked because of, like, natural phenomenon that could be weird down there.
Yeah, also a lot of these are, like, long abandoned buildings, so they're crumbling. There could be, like, people sneaking around in there.
Yeah.
Whether they be, like, camped out there or other ghost hunters. Like teenagers sneaking in, So yeah, there's a lot of possible creepy things that aren't associated with ghosts, but personally, I would factor in the ghosts.
We watched the second episode of Ghost Files, which is the I guess it's them breaking off of Ghostfeed and starting their own show, but it's the same thing essentially.
Right, because they no longer work for Buzzfeed. They broke off to start their own channel, but they couldn't use the title anymore because it belongs to Buzzfeed.
And they went to Alcatraz, and they do this thing where they're like, listen to the sound, and it's clearly a seagull.
There absolutely was a clear seagull.
They're like, what is it? What is it? A scream? Is it a ghost? A scream?
It was like very clearly a seagull.
Not Shane, but Ryan. Yeah, Ryan. Ryan is funny, man.
Yeah.
He just freaks out over very little shit.
But I noticed something. So remember how you were saying that you hate all of the like tools they use because there's no evidence that ghosts are energy?
Yeah.
So one of the devices that they use, I think it's the Ovilus, is the one that it like flashes and beeps when you get close to it. That's not an energy thing. That's a motion activation thing. So is that more feasible to you?
Yeah, but it's not feasible.
Like, I know you don't believe in ghosts, but say they're real. What would be more feasible? Was something that relies on channeling energy into words or a motion detector?
Motion detector for sure.
Yeah. So, like, some of the tools they use aren't completely insane.
It's so weird to think about ghosts being tied to electrical energy because our entire universe is based on entropy.
Well, I
think there's this idea that there's just fucking electrical energy that's sitting in a place not decaying. And that doesn't make sense.
I think so. It's more the fact that or the theory that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So once it's there, it's there. And it might, sure, entropy might be a factor, but the leftover bits of energy are still around.
But like the cells are gathered together in a body. Like that's how energy is keeping its form in a corporeal form. But when you're dead and gone, like what's keeping the form of that energy in place? It just dissipates.
See, there's a lot of like theories out there as to, if ghosts are real, what are they? And one of the popular theories is they're like essentially echoes, like leftover remnants of energy. So, I don't know. I don't know how it works exactly.
That you could talk me into, because when I saw my ghost, I did a big long post about it on my blog at owlbynight.com if you want to read it. Where I was like breaking down what I actually saw. And what I came up with was like, maybe it's a projection. So I could, if our like reality is a simulated projection, then I could see the echo of like a ghost being projected.
I think the
like
other
a
part of it is like,
something.
Yeah, I think the other part of it is that it assumes that a lot of ghosts that are like the ones that you see at least exist because the events of their death created so much energy. Like it was so negative and tragic that it left almost like a stain.
Yeah.
So like that is a really interesting theory. But also if that's the theory you go by, then you can't really explain like intelligent hauntings. Like if you ask a ghost a question and it answers you, like that shouldn't be possible if they're just echoes.
That's true. But for like, let's say the death was like caused a lot of energy output or something, we're starting on two different bases of belief too, because I don't really believe in like auras and stuff like that, and like personal energy and things like that. Whereas I think you do. So if you have that base of belief, then it's going to be much easier for you to get to ghosts than it will for me to get to ghosts.
I also didn't even think of it as being like metaphysical. I think just anything, any kind of action that we do creates some kind of energy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not like scientific enough to explain it in any exact terms.
I don't think you can explain it scientifically.
No, I just think that I'm trying to explain it as rationally as possible, like give a skeptic view of what ghosts could be. So yeah, I think there's just like a ton of schools of thought. It's a little bit naive to say like I know the right answer and it's definitively untrue. So I like stuff like ghost shows because even when they're hosted by someone as skeptical as Shane, they're trying to keep an open mind and like playing with what they have to see what's out there.
Yeah, their best guess.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But I just, when I look at it, I'm like, that's stupid. That thing's dumb. I don't understand how you can engineer something to detect something that doesn't exist when you don't know how to detect it.
I truly don't know that either. Like, I don't know how they decided that, like, the device where it's supposed to translate like energy into words. Yeah. Like I have no idea how that works. And like I have no idea how somebody created that not knowing how it works to achieve its purpose. Like that seems like bullshit.
Of course. Yeah. It's snake oil. But
yeah. But other things like the motion detectors I can buy more into.
I have the same problem. It's not really even a problem with religion. Like I'm not a religious person, but I find myself being jealous of people that are, because I just don't, I've never felt any draw to a higher power at all, but it seems rad. Like, I feel like I felt that a lot of times before. I was like, oh, that would be cool to be part of a community that all feels this thing together. And I think ghost hunting is along those same lines. It would be like rad if I believed in that and I could like experience weirdness in the world like that.
My own personal philosophy, and I don't know if this is just something that's kind of been like left over as someone who was raised in a really religious setting, is that there's something beyond my understanding. I don't know what it is. It's not necessarily meant for me to know what it is. And like devoting my time to trying to find out what it is isn't necessarily worth it. But I think it's so much more interesting to believe that there's stuff out there beyond our understanding and like beyond our plane of reality.
Yeah.
Because if you just believe that what you see is all there is, life must be so much more boring.
It is. That's what I'm like. I agree. I would love it.
Yeah.
I want that like extra
yeah, I'm not,
novelty, but I
like-
can't get there.
I'm like a healthy skeptic where, if I see it, I'll believe it. I personally haven't experienced anything supernatural, but it still fascinates me that something might be out there for me to eventually see one day.
Guarantee if you saw what I saw that one night, you would be fucking convinced you saw a ghost.
Maybe, but I've also had a lot of sleep paralysis episodes, and I've heard like phantom sounds and felt phantom things. So I know that there's certainly rational explanations for everything. It's, I guess, when I experience something that I fully can't reason away, there's that possibility lingering there that it could be something, beyond my understanding.
It also may be location based. Like if I saw what I saw, so I saw what I saw in a very familiar place in my bed in a house that I know was built like 15 years ago. Like nobody died here.
Right.
If I saw that same
Especially
shit on the Queen Mary, like if I was ghost hunting on purpose, then that's a different story.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like to keep an open mind.
Yeah. I also watched Batman Begins and The Dark Knight.
We're going off in a lot of tangents.
But I think they're
today.
good
That's
tangents.
Fine.
I don't think people care.
No.
Plus we have like 11 subscribers. So thanks for sticking with us, by the way.
Hell yeah.
I think
Tell your friends.
like still evolving, and eventually I'm
sure.
going to spend money on advertising and we'll get more people, but this is like the protozoic whatever.
Sure.
Our show's goo and it's got to evolve still.
Yes.
Batman Begins in The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is so fucking good, and I always forget till I watch it again. It keeps you gripped, and it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes long, so it's really long.
Damn.
And
is Dark Knight Christian Bale Batman?
It is, yeah. Heath Ledger Joker. Tell me you've seen that.
No.
Are you?
I don't give a shit about Batman, and you know that.
You're gonna watch this with me. I gotta pull a friend card.
Okay.
You don't have to.
I'm not opposed to it. It's just that, like, I never seek out Batman stuff because it doesn't interest me.
Dude, I think you could.
I don't know why you're surprised by that.
Because
I don't like DC.
It's so good. It's so good. It's maybe the best comic book movie of all time.
Wow.
It's 2 hours, so it's long. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes long. I don't think you even need to watch Batman Begins. I think you could just drop into The Dark Knight.
Yeah, I think I get it. Like, I think I get who Batman is.
Yeah. But I found myself like checking the time code, not because I was bored, but because I was impressed. And every time I checked it, I was like, how is there still so much movie left? Because I'm still like riveted. And I did that like 6 or 7 times. It felt like I was watching 8 hours of a movie.
Damn.
But I was like riveted the whole time. And I've seen it before.
I mean, that's impressive considering that even hour-and-a-half long movies sometimes feel like they're dragging.
It's a fucking masterpiece. Maybe we can hate watch parade that. We'll just sneak it in there instead of a sports movie.
That's not a hate watch.
Yeah, or maybe a bonus. I don't know. It's long. Maybe we just watch it as friends. I don't.
We're allowed to do that. We can do things as friends without turning it into content. We did.
We watched half of the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford.
Okay, here's the thing. So I've very much been... I had stopped watching True Blood after a certain point because I'm like, I just can't. It's too much. But it's a very, very fun show to watch if you're very high.
Yeah.
So I for a couple of nights, I have been taking like a sleepy time edible so I can watch some True Blood and then go right to bed and have a great sleep.
Right.
So I had already taken that when Jesse was like, hey, do you want to watch The Assassination of Jesse James? And I said, sure. Let me tell you, I was not following it at all.
No, that wasn't.
I couldn't tell you a single thing that happened.
But it wasn't just because you were high. It's got it's a weird storytelling structure that they have.
It does a lot of bouncing back and forth between characters and like between times.
There's a narrator that sounds like a PBS documentarian. And then they're jumping around characters, jumping around time, and the pacing.
So yeah, like not
great.
Yeah. not a movie, and it's also really long.
Yeah, it's super long.
Like I thought it was gonna end any minute, and I asked Jesse how long we had left, and he said an hour, and I was like, no, no,
yeah, I felt
can't.
it. I was like, you can bail, because I was ready to bail too.
Okay. I felt bad because I'm like, I'm sorry, like I physically am unable to continue watching this movie.
No, I was ready to bail. The rating on it was high. I was in the mood for a Western, and that was the next one on my list, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. And I like Westerns, and it has a really fun cast.
Yeah, and they're all good actors, but there's something about the pace of the storytelling and the structure that...
Yeah, the structure just kind of kills it. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is a funny part where he beats a child up.
I remember that.
And then he screams his name over and over, and I'm gonna do something with that.
Yep.
I'm gonna make a video out of that because it's really fucking funny in the darkest way you can imagine.
Yeah. You forgot to include on here that we've watched Bodies, Bodies, Bodies again. Because...
yeah, and we're gonna watch it again, I think.
Yeah. We've been watching Supernatural with our friend Beth, our Supernatural friend Beth, and we were going to watch some of it, and then when we all got together, she was like, I want to see Bodies, Bodies, Bodies with you guys at some point.
Yeah.
And we're like, all right, now? Sure.
Sure, yeah.
So we did watch it again, and then it's still good. Then we're gonna watch it a third time with Tatiana.
And because we weren't talking over it, I caught stuff that I didn't catch the first time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was still good. And then we're gonna watch it again. Yep.
Hell yeah.
And then we have I liked watching Dairy Girls with our friends Rob and Lexi. So I was like, I missed that. Let's watch another show with Rob and Lexi and everybody.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do that starting on Monday with a show called Resident Alien.
Hell yeah. And Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
What was that dude's name in the assassination of Jesse James? Dick Little?
Dick Little. There's so many, like, there was a Cummins family.
Yeah.
There's Dick Little. He was very specific to spell it with 2 D's. Liddle, not Little Dick.
Yep. They also, another reason I couldn't get through it is because they were using so much wild dialect, like so many weird, like, I don't know, what's the cutesy, like, sayings?
Colloquialisms?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck did he just say?
There was a lot of that. There was a lot of epithets that were just fucking sneaking in there. I don't know. I didn't hate that part of it. There's just the story structure is bad, and it's too
not
long.
that I hated it. It was just that, like, in that state of mind, if you're barely speaking English to me, I'm not gonna follow.
True.
You know, the time for asking any question is right now.
Hey, Felicia.
Hey, Jesse.
Did you know we have questions from the Discord this week?
I completely forgot to look at them.
Oh, no.
But I have answers, so it's fine.
I think I did, too. I answered one of them.
Well,
the first question is from Tyler, who asks, what's a trope or tropes in horror that you wish would just stop? For me, it's the classic, let's split up. It never makes any sense and creates forced artificial tension. Yeah, I agree with that. It's like, there's no reason you should be splitting up right now, and you know it. It is bothersome. I think for me, it's like the idea of a final girl. Yeah. Like I do like it, but it also tends to make, especially slashers, super predictable. You're like, okay, you know, she's obviously the main character. She's gonna live, especially if she's a virgin. Yeah. So yeah, I don't like any kind of trope that makes a movie super predictable, especially because I'm already somebody who has a tendency to guess at the ending, and I'm usually right. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd say that. Mine is, I hate dumb characters. Yeah. I hate super dumb characters, and they seem to be in everything, and sometimes every fucking character's dumb, and they act against instinct, and that's the part that gets me, when they do shit that is against what their instinct as a human being should be. That's another good one, especially, like, using the example of Speak No Evil. Yeah. Our big problem with that movie is that the character's actions made no sense for the situation. I don't want to spoil it, but there's one that's like a basic human thing at the end. Like, it's definitely hard-coded into our fucking DNA. If something happens, you're going to act a certain way.
Yeah.
And they
It just makes it
made
super
it seem like it was no choice at all.
Well, it makes it super obvious that there's a hidden agenda of the director or writer.
Yeah.
You know, that's like these people are not doing something that makes sense because the director wants to assert some kind of message or moral. And it's hard to wrap your head around.
It's for sure lazy writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that thing needed 2 more drafts or something. They can't just leave it there.
Right.
Yeah, it was like the basest human instinct, and they just ignored that that's a thing. I was like, no.
I don't like being forced to accept something just because it makes the ending make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like it to make sense in context.
I agree. That movie's very divisive because I think there's people that can let that go, but I'm not one of them.
Right. Same.
Efren asks, what is an S-tier Halloween candy or drink you wish you could have all year round? I have an answer to this that's not candy or drink.
Well, then you did not do the question, but please continue.
My answer, okay, so we have this company called Oots here that makes snacks.
Okay.
They make this party mix called Witch's Brew. That is like fucking crack cocaine to me. What the fuck? I just had a podcast start playing for no reason.
What the fuck?
Interesting. Okay, start over. There's this company here called Oots, and they make this party mix called Witch's Brew that is like extraordinarily fucking good. It's like take your favorite Chex Mix. That's a 5. Witch's Brew is a 10 now.
Ooh, what's in it?
It's like a party mix. It's got Doritos adjacent thing, but it's Oots' own flavor that I like better than any Doritos I've ever had.
Ooh,
it's got like pretzels in there. I don't know. It's like a party mix, and I think it's their seasoning. This Oots thing, I feel like they make my favorite peanut butter filled pretzels too, but nobody I've ever talked to knows what Oots is, which is so weird to me because
no, I've never heard of it.
It's like a brand that's followed me my whole life.
Do you think it's a like Southern thing?
Must be, yeah. The other one is like Totino's Party Pizza. Nobody ever knows what the fuck I'm talking about when I say that. They all
see. It's funny because I do know what you're talking about. I just never got the party pizzas.
You
I always
got
just the pizza rolls.
Right.
Yeah.
The party pizza is a completely different beast.
Yeah.
They're like cheap kid pizza your parents would get, and they're like rectangular, and they have holes in the back.
They have holes in the back?
Like I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like a couch, you know how you see in a leather couch and it's got like pegs in it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's like that, but it's a pizza crust. And it's got like little cubed pepperonis. But for some reason that's like a taste from my childhood that'll never leave. If I have a party pizza in front of me, I will fuck it up.
I mean, I want to fuck it up right now too.
I think I was talking to Kevin about it, and he said he would eat these Celeste pizzas with cubed pepperoni, and that sounds like it might be the West Coast equivalent, maybe.
I've never heard of that, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why you don't have...
Everyone has their own personal pan pizza.
I guess so. Totino's Party Pizza, though, is like all through my childhood. And maybe it's just because we're poor kids. I don't know.
You know, honestly, I think the reason is that my mom, it was like perpetually on a diet when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So everything in our freezer was like lean cuisine brand.
Oh, ew.
So like, yeah, I know that I had those little pizzas that you heat up, but I bet they were some kind of like diet food brand.
Yeah, probably. Tell us if you know what a Totino's Party Pizza is, because I swear to Christ, I haven't found anyone who does. And that's so weird to me because they're so good.
I've seen, like, when I grocery shop, I've seen them. So I know they're still around. Oh. I got to pick one up at some point.
Yeah, pick one up, see what you think. Or don't, because you're going to want more of them.
Hell yeah.
They're cheap, but also they taste real good. They'll kill you probably 2 years, but
oh, totally.
So
but
good.
So many things will. So, you know, YOLO.
What's your S-tier Halloween candy or drink you wish you could have all year round?
What I'm struggling with is the all year round thing, because a lot of my S-tier Halloween candies you can pick up at any point. They're just like the mini versions. So now I'm trying to think specifically of like
Wouldn't
like you said, like a exclusive seasonal thing.
Wouldn't it be pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks?
Well, so I was thinking about that. I actually don't love the pumpkin spice latte because it's way too sweet for me, but I like the pumpkin cream cold brew. So maybe that, or around Halloween, especially M&Ms will make a bunch of different seasonal flavors. Like one of them is candy corn.
Yeah.
There's also like a pumpkin spice latte one. So I really like around Halloween time to go to Target, and they'll have all these weird season exclusive candies. There was a marshmallow flavored Kit Kat that I got once, and it really did taste like marshmallows.
Oh, probably tastes like a s'more a little bit.
Yeah. So I like picking up really weird exclusive seasonal candies that I've never seen before and trying them. It's like one of my fun Halloween traditions.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think for candy, when I think about candy and Halloween, I think of Reese's Pieces.
Right. I love,
But those are around all the time. But
exactly. I love Kit Kats, but those are around all the time.
Also, I had to struggle to call them Reese's Pieces. I call them Reese's Pieces. And I think that's like a Mandela effect, maybe.
No, I've heard it both ways. I think I say Reese's Pieces, but people say Reese's Pieces.
But I had that experience though, like a couple of years ago, where I'd heard it called Reese's Pieces for the first time in my life, and it felt like a Mandela effect.
Weird.
Because I was like, no, that's Reese's Pieces. But when you do read it, it's like spelled Reese's Pieces. So.
Well, no, it's just that you attribute both words to one sound, so you either pick the E or the I.
Yeah. Tell us in the Discord or email us if you call them Reese's Pieces.
Perfect.
I think a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I've been playing out a lot of hypotheticals in my mind.
Hey, me too. We have a hypothetical from Tyler. It is, you are given the choice of living in the world of 28 days later for 6 months or the world of A Quiet Place for a year. Which do you choose?
I think you're dead wrong.
Uh-oh.
So...
Don't read my answer. Why you gotta creep on my answer?
Well, say it.
Okay, so one thing is I haven't seen A Quiet Place. I'm assuming the rules of that universe. So my answer is 28 days later because I can't not make sounds. I do it involuntarily when I'm alone.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm walking around my house, I make weird random sounds just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I don't think I could not make sounds.
Okay, here's my argument. That would also be bad for you in 28 days later. You make a random sound, a zombie jumps through your window and eats you. So in A Quiet Place, there are kind of ways around the no sound thing. So like, yes, you have to be quiet if you're walking around outside, or like, I think, if you're surrounded by walls, you can whisper and it's fine.
Right.
Or like at one point they go to a waterfall that's already really loud, and then they can literally yell because their own noise isn't drowned out, or is drowned out by the sound of the waterfall.
Okay.
So like they also have, because the wife is pregnant and they know she's going to go into labor at some point, they've made this special like soundproof room in their basement.
Mm-hmm.
So like they piled a bunch of like mattresses against the wall to kind of dampen the sounds. So I think that it would be easy enough to figure out how to survive in the world of A Quiet Place, because you can like insulate your house more, you can make it soundproof, and then you just don't leave your house.
Right. I don't know.
Because like 28 days later, I wouldn't pick that world because it has fast zombies.
Yeah.
So they're not even just like the kind that just kind of bumble around and you can easily escape. They're the ones that will literally chase you if they see you. And also, it isn't just the zombies. It has a bunch of terrible ass people too. There's the whole scene where they answer, or they hear the distress, or they hear over the radio that there's like safety. So they go there and they find out these men literally lord them there because they want women. So it's like, for me, the 28 days later world might not be the safest.
That's
So
true.
yeah, I pick A Quiet Place 1,000,000%.
Maybe I'd pick The Quiet Place if I saw it. Does The Quiet Place like end in where you can make sound again, or you still have to be quiet?
Still have to be quiet, but it ends with them like figuring out a way to hurt/kill the monsters.
Oh, okay.
So it's like you could make sound, you just got to be prepared to fight, and you can probably win.
Well, that's 28 days later is better in that respect because you make it to safety eventually, and you just live.
I don't know. Well, yeah, that's true, but you have to like wait out the virus.
Yeah, that's true. They're both
I think
suck.
either of these, they both suck, but they're both survivable if you have a basement.
Yeah.
That's essentially the lesson.
Hell yeah, you gotta get a basement up in there.
Yeah.
Because sugar isn't good. That's the impression that I get.
Hey Felicia, it's your favorite new segment.
I completely forgot about this segment, and I also have no idea what you've written down here, so I can't wait.
No, that's a code for me. I wouldn't.
Jesse has MMKK and then an arrow to RB.
Yep. I would never tell you what's coming because that defeats the purpose of the whole bit.
Perfect.
Also, last week, I acted as a crutch for you and I went first. I won't be doing that. This is all
Oh,
you.
you bastard.
This is all yours.
Fuck. Will you do it afterwards?
No. Are you ready?
I guess.
You stay focused. Then is how you escalate.
No, this is racist. No.
Time, get out.
I will not do this.
You stay focused.
Oh, did I? Hold on. I put it on loop.
Then is how you
What do you,
That's so racist if I try that.
No, it'll be great. I think it'll really take our show places if you try this one.
Nuh-uh. No.
But I won't do it.
No.
I won't.
I won't do this.
Yeah, I know. That was a joke.
Oh my god.
I got another one. The panic is so good. I like that you picked up on it immediately. I wasn't sure. I thought there was like
well, it said Danielson, so I kind of assumed.
I thought there was like an outside chance that you might try it.
No.
And I wouldn't have played it.
That's
if
like
you did.
that's entrapment.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates.
This is easy.
You never know what you're going to get.
Oh, do you want a harder one?
No.
Hold on, I have a harder one.
Wait, no.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I have a harder one.
I don't want a harder one.
All right. I might.
Wait, I feel like I need something to put in my mouth.
I was just gonna.
Anything handy.
I was gonna do this one with you, by the way.
Okay.
I was just gonna use my knuckle.
Your knuckle.
Yeah, but sometimes when I put my fingies in my mouth, I gag. Not because there's anything wrong with my fingies, but because my mouth doesn't like it.
Okay.
You might hear me gag if I try this.
Ew.
All right, I'm gonna play this one more time.
Okay.
My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
All right.
Okay, I don't have anything around me to put in my mouth, but my mama always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
So he only put it sounded like you put several chocolates in your mouth. But I think he only does one.
You never know what you're gonna get.
That's pretty good.
Okay, I'll try.
You're right. This might have been too easy.
You never know what you're gonna get.
All right. Next week I'm gonna use the one that I had that's not easy.
Okay.
It's a monologue.
Well, that feels like my revenge against the first attempt.
What do you mean?
Your bit.
My cool bit?
Your racism bit.
That was just Mr. Miyagi. It's not racist unless you do it.
It's racist that you try to trap me into doing it.
I think it's kind of racist that maybe they made Mr. Miyagi talk like that. I always wondered. I don't know if that's
Maybe.
true. I think Mr. Miyagi was
I
like,
don't know how Mr. Miyagi talks in real life.
That's my thing. I think he's got like an Americanized accent. He's definitely dead now.
Poor Mr. Miyagi.
But I think maybe they made him talk like that. I don't know. I want to stop before I go into racist territory.
Yes, please.
The guy was like tearing him to pieces with his mouth. So I told him, get off, you know, it's like, and the guy just kept eating the other guy away, like ripping his skin.
Larry Vega describes it as a scene out of a horror movie as a naked man chewed off the face of another naked man.
That's my
Kills
favorite
me is the fact
bumper.
that they were both naked.
Yeah, that's the good part. When it gets to the end and they're both naked and they're chewing each other. It's so weird.
Chewing each other.
It's got to be bath salts.
Yeah, probably.
I forgot where I got that. It was from it was from some random news thing. There is some new movie and TV news.
Hell yeah.
The first is that the Community movie got ordered at Peacock.
Has it been in talks for a while? Because I feel like that was not the first time I've heard that.
So there was like a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago where Dan Harmon said that he had a pitch ready. And I guess that pitch was good.
Okay, maybe that's what I heard. Because I knew they were working on something with Community. But now we know it's a movie at Peacock.
I'm not super excited about it.
I never watched Community.
I really loved Community until Donald Glover left. If they can get Donald Glover back, if that's the movie they make, then I would be excited. But I think there's no way they get Donald Glover back.
I kind of don't think so, but also I feel like he's not up to much right now, so maybe.
Yeah, he just finished Community, or not a Community. Atlanta's final season's airing right now. And I think he retired his Childish Gambino alter ego. So you're right. He's got like nothing going on. Unless he's creating new stuff, which I hope he is, because this shit's really good.
Maybe he'll at least make a cameo.
Maybe. The other piece of news here I've got is that Marvel's Blade script is reportedly weak, which is frustrating. Its star Mahershala Ali. Blade's one of my favorite comic book movies, so this one stuck out to me. I hate this.
Interesting.
I didn't think it needed rebooted in the first place, but now this really makes me sad.
Well, I haven't seen the original and didn't plan to watch the remake, so I care less, but that's kind of a bummer.
I recommend the original. It's like a really fun vampire flick before vampire flicks were cool.
I have one other piece of news.
What's that?
We just got a trailer for Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosity.
Oh, I meant to watch that.
Which is... I haven't watched it yet, and I don't know if I will. I usually tend to avoid horror trailers because I feel like they give too much away.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an episodic anthology series, and all I know about it is there are segments featuring both Dan Stevens and Ben Barnes, who are both wet men and also really good at horror stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be good. I have a feeling.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait. That's going to be a watch along for sure.
Oh, yeah.
When that comes out. That's it for the news. It's kind of slow.
Yeah.
We come together on a huge silver screen because we need that. All of us. That indescribable feeling we get feels good in a place like this.
Wow. SNL debuted last night, their first night of the season, and they did a bit with what's Nicole Kidman's AMC thing. That was fun. You should look that up after this.
Was she involved?
Oh no, they were making fun of her.
Okay, I was thinking she would not be down for that.
No, they were making fun of her for sure. You should look that up after the show, and I'll try to link it in the show notes for other people. But there's only one thing coming out this week.
It looks like we're both excited for this because I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's called Amsterdam. It's a comedy drama history. In the 1930s, three friends witness a murder, are framed for it, and uncover one of the most outrageous plots in American history.
Yeah. And my trailer notes is I'm going in blind. I didn't watch the trailer because this looks great.
I think that I did against my will because it played before a movie I saw in theaters.
Oh, that
but
sucks.
I don't remember much about the trailer, so I don't think it like gave a bunch away. But yeah, I'm still really looking forward to it.
It's got a goddamn ridiculous cast.
Hell yeah.
I like the top 3 billed were Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, and John David Washington from Tenet. That's Denzel Washington's son.
Yeah, and then we also have Anna Taylor-Joy, Chris Rock, Mike Myers, Taylor Swift, Timothy Olyphant, Zoe Saldana, Rami Malek,
Robert
and
De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
And more. I stopped listing them, but it keeps going.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and it looks great from what I saw. I saw
it looks really fun.
I saw a very small snippet. I think I saw like the TV trailer where I got nothing from it, so I don't know what it's about, but I know that it looks good and it's got a great cast. And Christian Bale's like a never miss for me.
Same, yeah.
Everything he's in, I think I like. It's just one of those.
Especially Newsies.
I'm sorry. You immediately invalidated my statement because that is true. I didn't really like Newsies.
No, I made it stronger because it's the best.
He was the best part of Newsies. What's new on streaming?
Well, the first thing here is Hocus Pocus 2, which, hey, we did a bonus watch along on that. And that is up on our, it's on our YouTube channel too.
I was going to talk to you about this. I would like some feedback from the audience too when you hear this. I have a feeling that most people are going to watch our watch-alongs on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if releasing them to our podcast feed is cluttering our podcast feed.
Oh, maybe.
Because when I look at the episodes that are played, it seems like people listen to this one more frequently than they do the watch-alongs, which makes sense.
Yeah.
That was like the whole point.
Right.
Of doing these is to like keep people interested in our podcast and then have the watch-alongs. It's like the watch-alongs are the primary thing, but we knew that people are going to treat that like a library and they're going to like maybe listen to those once every 3 weeks or whatever, pick what they want to listen to. So we wanted to have a thing every week that would like keep you engaged.
I'm not opposed to moving them over to the YouTube feed. The only thing I can think that some people might not like about that is that sometimes it's convenient to play it in the podcast app when you don't have like your phone or whatever open. True. Like YouTube, you have to keep open when you're doing other things.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep them in the podcast feed, but I was wondering about that. So
let us know.
Let us know, because the thing that I thought about was that they're auto downloading. A lot of the times, and those watch along files are bigger than the regular podcast files. So there's like, if you only listen to this show, then you're probably downloading extra files every week you don't care about. And if that's on like mobile data, that could suck. So I don't know. Let us know.
I think anyone who listens to the podcast just for this episode would appreciate it being taken off. But just if you watch the watch alongs, let us know what's more convenient for you.
Yeah, please do. So we watched the bonus Hocus Pocus 2, or we did a bonus watch along of Hocus Pocus 2, and we both liked it.
Yeah, I think that we were both pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, they did a thing that ruined the pacing of the movie a little bit, but it's still very watchable and still good. I give it like a 6.5 or a 7 out of 10, maybe.
Yeah,
a little above average.
Fair. Yeah,
and it's a kids movie.
For sure. But they tried certainly to pay homage to the first movie. There's a whole lot of little Easter eggs in there.
Yeah.
So keep your eye out.
And actually it's hard to walk that line in general between like when you make a kids movie that adults can watch. I feel like it's very watchable in general. It's not just like
Yeah, well, because you're supposed to be marketing it both to new audiences as well as the original audience for the first film.
Yeah.
Because, those people have been looking forward to seeing their favorite witches again. But also you want to make it invitable for new watchers.
Yeah, and I think they succeeded. And I'm always a sucker for people being like introduced to technology from the past. I love that
There's
trope.
a lot of that. Yep.
I love that trope anytime I see it. So just give me more of that.
Hell yeah. The next thing is also something that I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah.
It's called Bullet Train. It's a movie on Amazon Prime. It's an action thriller. 5 assassins aboard a fast-moving bullet train find out their missions have something in common. Stars Joey King, Brad Pitt, Karen Fukuhara. Oh, Kamiko. I love her.
Yeah.
She's great.
Sandra Bullock.
And Brian Tyree Henry.
Who I put on there because I love him in Atlanta. A lot of these on the list today we've talked about in the past. We covered them when they were releasing to theaters.
Yeah, including this next one.
Yeah, this next one that we talked about at length.
Yeah. And it is Fall.
Yeah.
It's a thriller. We talked about it. Best friends Becky and Hunter find themselves on top of a 2,000-foot radio tower. It's now on Amazon Prime.
Hell yeah.
And then the next one we've also talked about at length.
I was looking for the episode where Fall was in so you could go back, but nah, couldn't find it.
I think it's in the title, so you can probably...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the next one is Bodies, Bodies, Bodies from A24, now on Amazon Prime. When a group of rich 20-somethings plan a hurricane party at a remote family mansion, a party game turns deadly in this fresh and funny look at backstabbing, fake friends, and one party gone very, very wrong.
And it's very satirical, pointed directly at Gen Z.
Yup. We, I think, also mentioned this before when it was coming out, but there's the Rob Zombie Munsters.
Dude, I really want to watch this.
You absolutely can. I'm not going to.
I know you're not. I think
so.
I don't know. There's something magical about it and how much everybody hates it that makes me want to watch it.
So it is a reboot of the Munsters, but it's done by Rob Zombie. My friend Alex did watch it.
Yeah.
He said that it is like very geared towards kids. It's very cutesy, very corny. He said it did eventually kind of win him over, but it's certainly just like a feel-good type of thing. It's not like a gritty reboot that you would expect from Rob Zombie.
I was also reading that it was supposed to be in black and white. Netflix wouldn't let him do it. So he went over the top, like hyper colors.
Right. So you can make it black and white by fucking with your TV settings if you want to. So moving on to the next thing on the list, we got Emily the Criminal, which I think we also talked about when the trailer first came out.
Yep, we did.
So down on her luck and saddled with debt, Emily gets involved in a credit card scam that puts her into the criminal underworld of Los Angeles, ultimately leading to deadly consequences. It's on Amazon Prime, stars Aubrey Plaza and Theo Rossi.
And to be fair, when we talked about this before, I think I said this was for ladies who were bored in their life.
But I feel like you wanted to watch it because Aubrey Plaza.
I didn't want to watch it because I watched the trailer. But in fairness, I've heard since that it's pretty good.
Cool.
So I think my reading of it from the trailer might have been wrong.
All right. I still don't want to watch it, but sure.
I still don't really either.
Next on the list is Sissy. It's a comedy drama horror on Shudder. Teen best friends Cecilia and Emma, after a decade, run into each other. Cecilia is invited on Emma's bachelorette weekend where she gets stuck in a remote cabin with her high school bully with a taste for revenge. That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't recognize any of the names attached to this.
No, I watched the trailer. It seemed okay. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put it on the list.
Yeah, I think in general... So Shudder is like super, super cheap. I think it's only $5 a month.
Yeah.
So it's worth picking up around this time of year, I think. But I don't usually find enough to keep me watching for long. So I usually I stop and start my subscription a lot.
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe some stuff will be coming out because it's the spook season and it's a whole horror movie streaming site.
Yeah. And this one looked good enough that I thought I would mention it. It's at least not bargain bin dumpster trash.
Hell yeah. Last thing coming to streaming is Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon. It's a mystery thriller fantasy on Hulu. A girl with unusual powers escapes from a mental asylum and tries to make it on her own in New Orleans. Oh, it's written and directed by Ana Lily Amirpour, who I really enjoy. She did Girl Walks Home Alone at Night and The Bad Batch.
I was wondering if you would recognize the writer-director. I didn't recognize any of the stuff that she made.
Yeah, you've seen The Bad Batch. I showed it to you.
What was that about?
It's the Jason Momoa
Right.
Yeah.
Wait.
I'm personally not a huge fan of A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, but I really like The Bad Batch. It's the cannibal one with Jason Momoa and the girl,
Hold on.
Suki Waterhouse.
I'm drawing a blank. My memory
And
sucks.
Keanu Reeves is in it, and he plays the like cult leader guy.
Dude, are you sure you made me watch this?
Yep, I'm 100%. You're asking me out of the two of our memories?
I'm drawing an absolute blank. I don't remember that at all.
Jim Carrey is in it, and he's the hobo.
Oh,
yeah.
You got me back. I remember.
All right.
I liked it.
Yeah, I remember I saw The Bad Batch at the Overlook Film Festival like 5 or 6 years ago, whenever that was.
It was like,
I remember
it's set in the desert, right? Like apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was really good.
And I remember tweeting about it, like my reaction and how I really liked it. And Anna Lily Amarpour was like on Twitter looking at reactions, and she was like, "Great, I'm glad you liked it." And I said like, "Oh, Jason Momoa is excellent. He doesn't have a shirt on the whole time." And she's like, "What a man."
Let's do a watch along this. I saw this.
Cool.
And it stuck out to me as quality.
Yeah, Anna Lily Amarpour is like really artsy with the way her stuff is filmed. Even though I didn't love A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night, it's still really pretty looking, and so is The Bad Batch.
I tend to like
so
that.
I would give it a shot. Yeah.
I tend to like that sort of thing. And yeah, I was just in my research, and it wasn't like lauded. I used it right. It wasn't like lauded or anything or at the top of anyone's list, but there was something about it when I was looking at it. I was like, this looks good. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, that looks pretty good. So
yeah, I'll give her stuff a chance for sure.
Hell yeah, let's do that.
All right. Hey, Jesse,
yeah.
what are we watching this week?
We're watching a recommendation from you that I have not seen called The Descent.
Fuck yeah. This is another like very popular horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, it takes a whole lot to scare me or make me like uncomfortable enough to have a horror movie be, on my list of recommendations. So The Descent has a lot of that. It's like very, very viscerally uncomfortable in a lot of ways. And it's got both relatable, like elemental discomfort as well as some fun creatures. So I'm really pumped.
Yeah, I'm into it. It looks fun.
Yeah.
Scary fun.
Yeah.
This one's on Paramount Plus, by the way. And it's got a runtime of 1:33. I love that.
I think it's also available for purchase or rent on Prime, but I couldn't tell because I had purchased it a long time ago.
It probably is.
So I'm not sure. Yeah.
You'll find it.
You'll find it. It's been out a long time.
I've been thinking, like, I bet that our show could be a great lane for people who don't want to watch horror by themselves.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment, especially so this time of year, I think we're mostly going to be watching horror or like spooky things, stuff that sets the mood.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of our followers aren't necessarily big horror fans.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you get a little spooked out by horror stuff, let us be your Svengali.
Yeah.
We'll be there to talk to you and talk you through it. And we'll do some bits.
In our original stages of creation, this was going to be an all horror Shudder show.
Yeah.
But we were just like, fuck it. We watch all sorts of shit. Might as well.
That kind of brings up if this is going to be like a horror movie that I'm recommending, like my pick, I'm going to give you like out of 3 skulls, how scary is it? Like how accessible is it to horror fans?
Out of 3?
I'm going to give, like say 1 skull is like, it's spooky, but it is accessible.
I would give Bodies 1 skull.
Right. And then 2 skulls would be like, it's pretty spooky, like maybe have a friend with you to watch it.
I'm thinking slashers for that.
Yeah. And then 3 skulls is like,
Hereditary.
It's scary. Yes. So I'm putting The Descent at 3 skulls.
Oh, nice. So I'm going to have like maybe a hereditary adjacent experience.
Yeah, I did.
I haven't watched anything that's fucked me up worse than Hereditary.
Dude, I saw Hereditary in a theater by myself at night, and I walked out of that theater like physically shaking a little bit, like viscerally uncomfortable.
Yeah, man, that shit was nuts.
Yeah, so I hope The Descent does that for you too,
All
because I think that's a mark of good horror.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm into it. I don't mind feeling that way.
And I hope I haven't overhyped it now.
No, I think it's, from what I could tell, I think people really like it. It seems that it's good
Yeah.
horror.
Hell yeah.
Wow. I think we're done.
Yeah.
I think we did it. And
we did it.
we're at an hour 35, and that's because I had to pee
Perfect.
right in the middle.
Yeah, Jesse's stupid little bladder.
My stupid body. I don't. Maybe I'm dying. Why does it want to pee so much? Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to Two Idiots Talking Over Stuff, produced by Jesse Stillwell, with original theme and outro music by Jesse Stillwell. For more information, you can visit www.idiots.fm or reach out directly via email to contact@idiots.fm.